Most people spend their whole lives chasing money, yet the wild truth is that wealth has always been waiting on them. And here's the part nobody wants to admit: manifesting money in 2 days or less isn't unrealistic. It's only uncomfortable because it challenges everything we were taught. While the world repeats the tired mantra of work harder, a small minority quietly taps into a different power, one that bends circumstances instead of bowing to them. If you've ever felt frustrated, stuck, or exhausted by the constant grind, you're about to discover why none of it was your fault, and why your breakthrough can happen faster than you think. The real shock is this: your money doesn't show up when conditions improve, it shows up when you do. And once you understand the internal trigger that flips your money frequency into alignment, the whole game changes. What if the result you've been struggling for is actually just 2 days away? What if you've been closer to abundance than anyone ever told you? This isn't positive thinking, it's a skill, a shift, a reset that rewires how life responds to you. And once you step into this new reality, returning to the old one becomes impossible. When someone decides to attempt wealth manifestation in just 2 days, something shifts inside them, almost like a quiet click that changes the entire direction of their money frequency. They suddenly realize that the real trigger for financial transformation isn't the job, the market, or even the lucky break they've been waiting for. It's the intention they activate internally. This intention works like a lighthouse, guiding opportunities straight toward them. And the moment a person sets this bold intention, the abundance mindset begins to emerge, whispering possibilities where fear once lived. People often think they need external signs before they believe big money can come quickly, but a wise mentor knows it works the other way around. Belief precedes evidence. When someone holds a strong intention, steady, calm, and unapologetic, life starts rearranging itself with surprising efficiency. Picture someone waking up, deciding, money will appear for me within 48 hours, and instantly standing taller, speaking differently, and noticing things they were blind to before. That's the magic of adjusting their money frequency. It's subtle, but it's powerful enough to rewrite the next 2 days entirely. Think of intention as the ignition key of wealth manifestation. Without turning it, the engine never starts. But once it turns, even softly, momentum builds faster than logic can explain. Some people try to manifest money while still doubting themselves, and it's like pressing the gas with the handbrake on. Yet when they truly commit, the energy shifts in a way even a child could sense. This commitment creates a clean internal signal that activates the abundance mindset, making opportunities feel closer, sometimes ridiculously close. A practical example helps here. Imagine someone needing $500 in 2 days. Instead of panicking, they set a bold intention and breathe into it, letting their money frequency rise. Suddenly, they remember a friend who owes them, or a freelance task they can complete quickly, or an item at home they could sell that same afternoon. These ideas weren't invisible before, they were simply inaccessible without intention. This is why mentors insist the trigger is internal. Without that trigger, even the most obvious path remains hidden in plain sight. Another person might set a similar intention, but instead of looking outward, they notice the shift in their confidence. Their posture changes. They speak with more clarity. They trust themselves a bit more. And because the abundance mindset is activating, the world responds almost in sync. It's the same principle that makes some people natural opportunity magnets. They operate from the end result, not the fear of lack. This attitude sends a signal that aligns perfectly with wealth manifestation. What makes the 2-day shift so fascinating is that it compresses time in a way that forces focus. 2 days is too short for overthinking but perfect for intention-driven action. It keeps the mind from spiraling into doubt while keeping emotions high and aligned. Someone practicing this quickly learns that the universe doesn't need time, it needs alignment. And alignment comes from the internal yes, not the external circumstances. That's what strengthens their money frequency more than any affirmation alone. And here's the part that truly surprises people: once they experience this shift even once, they realize the 2-day window is merely training wheels. It teaches them that when intention is bold, clean, and emotional, outcomes accelerate. They begin sensing that something bigger is at play, guiding them toward a new relationship with money. And as they lean into this relationship, they naturally start slipping into the realm of the abundance mindset, where the next layer of the journey quietly waits for them to step in. Most people don't realize that belief is the invisible magnet shaping every experience they have with money. When someone believes money is scarce, life finds a way to confirm it, almost like it's following a script they unknowingly wrote. But when they adopt the abundance mindset, the world begins showing them chances, openings, and unexpected flows. It's one of the most powerful mechanisms behind wealth manifestation. Belief doesn't just influence opportunities, it attracts them. And the moment belief shifts, their money frequency rises like a radio tuning into a clearer signal. Imagine two people with the exact same skills. One believes opportunities are everywhere, the other believes luck never favors them. Even before action happens, their realities split. The first one walks into rooms with confidence, notices ideas others overlook, and speaks in a way that opens doors. The second hesitates, doubts, and unconsciously closes chances before they appear. This is why belief quietly governs wealth manifestation. It sets the tone before life delivers the scene. And the abundance mindset strengthens this tone with remarkable consistency. A wise mentor often says, "The world doesn't respond to your desires, it responds to your beliefs." And it's true, desires can be loud, but beliefs are the ones issuing the orders. A person might desire wealth, but if they secretly believe money is hard to get, guess which instruction reality follows? That's right, the limiting one. Only when belief aligns with the desire does the money frequency stabilize enough for wealth manifestation to unfold. And this is precisely where inner transformation begins. One practical example: someone who believes money is easy to earn approaches job interviews differently. They speak with ease, negotiate with clarity, and show up like they already belong. They don't beg, they offer value. The energy is obvious. Compare that to someone who believes jobs are scarce. They shrink, apologize for existing, and accept less than they deserve. The difference isn't talent, it's belief. And belief, when nurtured, becomes the backbone of an unstoppable abundance mindset. Belief also changes daily decisions. When a person believes money flows to them, they naturally gravitate toward actions that reflect abundance: reading financial books, learning new skills, investing small amounts, or exploring ideas that used to intimidate them. These steps aren't forced, they're inspired. The body and mind sync with a new money frequency, guiding decisions that compound over time. Wealth manifestation becomes a byproduct of confidence rather than effort. But here's the twist most never notice: belief affects how someone reacts to setbacks. A person with an abundance mindset sees delays as recalibrations, not rejections. They stay open, flexible, and alert, knowing something better might be forming backstage. This emotional steadiness signals the universe that they're ready for bigger flows. Their money frequency remains high, even when circumstances fluctuate. And ironically, this steadiness accelerates outcomes. The deeper someone travels into this understanding, the more they realize belief isn't just mental, it's energetic. It shapes posture, tone, expectations, and emotional availability. It turns them into a magnet, naturally aligned with wealth manifestation. And once this alignment strengthens, they start questioning the old stories they used to believe about money, which leads them straight into the next stage of the journey, where those stories finally get rewritten from the inside out. Every person walks through life with an invisible script about money, shaped long before they were old enough to question it. Some were taught that money requires suffering, others that wealth is reserved for the lucky ones, and many quietly carry the idea that they themselves are not capable. But once someone begins exploring wealth manifestation, they realize these old stories are just mental echoes, not universal truths. The abundance mindset gently challenges these inherited scripts, inviting a new narrative to take root. And with that shift, their money frequency begins to rise almost effortlessly. A wise mentor would say that these old beliefs aren't the enemy, just outdated software. They were installed by parents, teachers, society, and fear itself. But the beautiful part is that software can be replaced. Someone can choose to uninstall the idea that money only comes through exhaustion and replace it with the belief that money comes through alignment and value. This simple mental shift rewires their approach to wealth manifestation. And the moment they consider this possibility, their abundance mindset starts activating like a new operating system. Imagine someone who spent years believing, "I'm not good with money." Every decision they make echoes that phrase. They avoid opportunities, undercharge their services, and apologize for wanting more. Now imagine them rewriting that belief into, "I naturally attract money through clarity and action." Suddenly, they negotiate better, spot opportunities faster, and take inspired risks. That's the power of a rewritten money frequency. Nothing about the world changed, only the story they told themselves. One practical way to start this reprogramming is to list the limiting statements they've repeated for years. Words like, "I can't," "I don't deserve," or "money is unpredictable." Seeing them written down breaks their illusion of truth. Then, one by one, they can rewrite each statement into a powerful declaration aligned with the abundance mindset. Phrases like, "I'm learning new financial skills every day," or "money flows to me through creative channels," begin to dissolve the old narrative. These shifts amplify wealth manifestation without forcing anything. People often underestimate how deeply the emotional weight of these stories affects their decisions. If someone believes they must struggle for every dollar, they'll subconsciously choose paths filled with resistance. But if they believe wealth is a natural extension of their growth, life responds with synchronicities and openings. Their money frequency becomes lighter, clearer, stronger. The world mirrors this internal shift by bringing opportunities aligned with the new story they've chosen to tell. The fascinating part is that reprogramming doesn't require shouting affirmations into the mirror, unless that's their style. It simply requires honesty and a willingness to observe their patterns. Each time they replace a limiting thought with a new empowering one, the abundance mindset gains another layer of strength. Over time, these small internal edits build a powerful new identity, one that aligns seamlessly with wealth manifestation. It's like tuning a guitar, tiny adjustments create a harmonious sound. As this new identity forms, something even more magical begins to happen. The imagination awakens. Possibilities feel closer. They start seeing visions of the life they want, not as fantasies but as previews. They realize the mind isn't just reprogramming, it's designing. And as this design expands, they naturally transition into the next stage of their journey, where imagination becomes the blueprint for the wealth they are now prepared to create. Imagination is the workshop where wealth manifestation quietly begins to take shape. Most people underestimate its power because they treat imagination like entertainment instead of a creative engine. But a wise mentor knows the mind doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined scenario and a lived experience, it simply responds to the signal. When someone imagines wealth with detail and emotion, their money frequency adjusts to match that reality. And from that moment forward, the abundance mindset starts guiding them toward aligned actions without them even noticing. The key is vividness. Not just, "I want money," that's too vague to build anything meaningful. Instead, they're invited to picture the exact numbers, the texture of the bills, the email notification of a deposit, or even the relief of seeing a bill paid instantly. These details feed the subconscious instructions, like giving a clear blueprint to a contractor. Wealth manifestation thrives on clarity. And the more specific the image, the more naturally the money frequency elevates to meet it. Imagine someone visualizing a $5,000 deposit arriving this week. They don't just think about it, they feel their phone buzz, imagine checking their account, and sense the gratitude rising in their chest. This emotional rehearsal primes their nervous system to recognize opportunities aligned with the outcome. Suddenly, ideas appear. Conversations open doors. Random connections turn into possibilities. This is the abundance mindset translating imagination into movement, and movement into reality. A practical exercise: every morning, someone can take 2 minutes to imagine a scene that represents financial freedom. It could be paying off a credit card, receiving a surprise payment, or seeing their business thrive. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. These 2 minutes recalibrate their money frequency before the world tries to pull them back into old patterns. Over time, this simple practice becomes one of the strongest tools for wealth manifestation, even stronger than affirmations alone. What makes imagination so powerful is that it bypasses logic. Logic argues, imagination accepts. Logic doubts, imagination creates. Logic compares, imagination expands. When someone dwells in the picture of their desired wealth, the abundance mindset grows automatically, because the mind begins to prefer the new vision over the old reality. And once the mind prefers the new vision, actions start shifting in subtle but meaningful ways. Another beautiful aspect is that imagination builds emotional memory in advance. A person begins feeling calm, secure, and empowered before the money arrives. This is crucial because emotions act like the amplifier of money frequency. When the emotional environment changes, the physical environment follows. And once someone masters feeling wealthy internally, the external world starts bending to match that internal truth. It's one of the most reliable pathways to wealth manifestation. As they deepen this practice, something else awakens, the ability to live as if the vision is already real. Imagination plants the seed, but stepping into the energy of the fulfilled desire waters it. And as that inner posture strengthens, the journey naturally shifts toward the next stage, where living in the end becomes the bridge between imagination and physical manifestation. Living in the end is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful principles of wealth manifestation. When someone acts as if the money is already here, they shift from desperation to certainty, and that alone changes everything. Instead of asking, "How will it happen?" they begin moving through life like a person who already has access, opportunity, and clarity. This internal posture strengthens their money frequency in a way nothing else can. And naturally, the abundance mindset expands to match this new emotional reality. People often think acting as if means pretending, but it's not about faking confidence, it's about embodying the version of themselves that already succeeded. If someone had the money today, how would they walk? How would they breathe? What decisions would they make with calm instead of fear? When they adopt these tiny behaviors, they align with the flow of wealth manifestation instantly. And surprisingly, the world begins mirroring that confidence back to them. A simple example, someone worried about money might check their bank account 10 times a day. But someone living in the end wouldn't do that, they'd trust their flow. So instead of obsessing, they redirect that energy into actions that elevate their money frequency. They read, learn, create, or even rest with intention. These choices seem small, but each one strengthens the abundance mindset, nudging them toward opportunities that feel natural instead of forced. Another practical shift is how they respond to expenses. Most people react with tension, but a person living in the end blesses the payment and moves on. They know money circulates, and circulation is a sign of life, not loss. This attitude subtly rewires their nervous system to associate spending with abundance, not scarcity. And as they do, the energy of wealth manifestation grows stronger around them, drawing in new flows with surprising ease. Living in the end also changes the way someone speaks. Instead of saying, "I hope money comes," they say, "Money flows to me consistently." Their words carry the tone of inevitability rather than longing. This shift influences their posture, their decisions, and even the way others perceive them. A strong money frequency is felt, not announced, and people naturally trust and support someone rooted in certainty. That's the heart of the abundance mindset at work. The calm that emerges from living in the end is one of its greatest gifts. A person no longer chases money, they attract it. They no longer fear outcomes, they allow them. And interestingly, this calm often leads them to take actions they'd previously overlooked, reaching out to someone, applying for an opportunity, raising their prices, or finishing a project. These inspired impulses are the breadcrumbs of wealth manifestation, guiding them step by step toward what's already aligned with their identity. As they deepen this practice, they begin noticing something profound. Their emotions start matching their vision instead of their current circumstances. And once emotions shift, the manifestation process accelerates dramatically. This naturally leads to the next layer of the journey, where emotion becomes the fuel that turns intention into rapid reality. Emotion is the secret ingredient most people overlook when trying to create rapid wealth manifestation. They visualize, affirm, set intentions, but without emotion, everything falls flat. Emotion is what gives color, texture, and weight to a desire. It's the signal the universe actually listens to. When someone feels genuine joy, relief, gratitude, or freedom, their money frequency skyrockets. And once it rises, the abundance mindset expands naturally, guiding them toward opportunities that match their emotional vibration. A wise mentor would say, "You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you feel." And it's true. A person can speak wealthy words but still feel broke inside, and that emotional discord slows everything down. But when they allow themselves to feel wealthy now, before the evidence, the heart sends a clearer signal than the mind ever could. Wealth manifestation becomes less about effort and more about emotional alignment, like tuning into the right station without static. Some people ask, how do I feel abundance when my circumstances don't match? The answer is simple: start with small emotional shifts. Feel gratitude for what is working. Feel relief that solutions exist. Feel excitement that something new is forming. These tiny sparks activate the abundance mindset and slowly recalibrate their money frequency. It doesn't require fireworks, just consistency. Over time, the emotional tone becomes so strong that reality can't help but respond. A practical example: imagine someone focusing on a financial desire. If they only think about it, their energy stays flat. But if they close their eyes and genuinely feel what it's like to have it, relaxing their shoulders, breathing deeper, letting a smile rise, that feeling becomes a magnet. Suddenly they receive ideas, see possibilities, or hear from someone they hadn't spoken to in years. Emotion unlocks movement. And movement is the lifeblood of wealth manifestation. Emotion also overrides old limiting beliefs. Someone can intellectually know they are worthy of money, but only emotion makes it real. When they feel worthy, the mind stops arguing. The body stops resisting. Life stops pushing back. Their abundance mindset reinforces itself through experience, not theory. And as their internal world softens, opportunities show up with less friction, perfectly matching their elevated money frequency. Another beautiful aspect is how emotion stabilizes desire. Without emotion, a desire feels distant and fragile, easily shaken by setbacks. But when someone anchors their desire in steady feelings of joy or gratitude, they become unshakable. They stop checking the clock. They stop doubting the process. They simply hold the emotional tone. And ironically, that emotional consistency speeds up wealth manifestation more than any physical action they could take. As they master this emotional alignment, they begin to notice something subtle yet powerful: their words change. Their tone changes. Their identity shifts. And from this emotional foundation, affirmations become far more potent, because now they aren't just spoken, they are felt. Which naturally leads them into the next stage, where words and identity lock the new reality in place. Words are not just sounds, they are instructions that shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. When someone repeats phrases aligned with wealth manifestation, they begin rewriting the blueprint of who they believe they are. Affirmations like, "I am financially abundant," or "money flows to me effortlessly," may seem simple, but spoken with conviction, they imprint new patterns into the subconscious. And as these patterns deepen, the abundance mindset strengthens, fine-tuning their money frequency to match a wealthier reality. A wise mentor would remind them that the subconscious mind doesn't respond to complexity, it responds to repetition. So the goal isn't saying 100 different affirmations but choosing a few and letting them soak into their daily rhythm. Each time they affirm abundance, they reinforce a new identity, one aligned with wealth manifestation. Over time, this identity becomes familiar, comfortable, natural. And when identity shifts, behavior follows without resistance. Someone might start their mornings with a simple phrase like, "Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways." At first, it may feel awkward, but that's only because the old identity is still dissolving. With repetition, the words gain emotional weight. They begin feeling true. Their money frequency adjusts, inviting experiences that match the affirmation. That's when opportunities appear, out of nowhere, even though they were waiting for alignment all along. Practical application matters. A person can weave affirmations into daily routines, while brushing their teeth, during a walk, or before bed. Small, consistent repetitions are more powerful than forced, dramatic sessions. Over time, these words carve new pathways in the mind, much like water shaping stone. And as these pathways form, the abundance mindset becomes second nature, supporting every intention related to wealth manifestation without effort. Affirmations also help override the lingering voice of doubt. Whenever a limiting thought arises, "I'll never get ahead, money is too hard, this won't work," they can gently replace it with a practiced phrase. Not in a battle, but in a calm redirection. This practice weakens the old narrative and strengthens the new one. The emotional tone shifts. The inner posture changes. And the money frequency rises because the internal dialogue no longer contradicts the desire. One powerful technique is pairing affirmations with emotion. Saying, "I am abundant," means little if said robotically. But saying it with a moment of gratitude, relief, or joy, that creates resonance. Emotion locks the affirmation into the subconscious, amplifying its effect. Suddenly, these words feel alive. They vibrate differently. They align with the energetic state required for wealth manifestation. And soon enough, reality starts reflecting the tone of these emotionally charged declarations. As someone continues strengthening their identity through intentional language, they begin trusting the process more. Their words, emotions, and visions start working together instead of pulling in different directions. And at this stage, they realize that focus and trust walk hand in hand, naturally preparing them for the next level, where detachment becomes a crucial part of accelerated manifestation. There comes a moment in wealth manifestation when someone must learn the art of holding a vision without suffocating it. Focus is essential, but attachment strangles possibility. When a person focuses on already having the money, they broadcast a clear signal that elevates their money frequency. But when they obsess over the how, when, or who, fear sneaks in and scrambles the signal. The abundance mindset thrives in spaciousness, not pressure. So the goal becomes simple: stay aligned, but loosen the grip. A wise mentor would compare this to planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and trust that it's growing, even when you can't see anything yet. You don't dig it up every hour to check. Manifestation works the same way. The desire is planted the moment someone aligns with their vision. Their job is to hold the emotional tone of certainty. The universe's job is everything else. And the more detached they are from the mechanics, the faster wealth manifestation unfolds. Detachment doesn't mean not caring, it means not panicking. It means knowing the result is guaranteed because the inner alignment is solid. Someone with an abundance mindset doesn't ask, "Is it coming?" They say, "It's done." This shift creates a calm confidence that pulls opportunities toward them instead of pushing them away. Their money frequency stabilizes in a higher range, allowing the manifestation to accelerate with less resistance and far more ease. A practical example: imagine someone wanting to manifest $800 in 2 days. They visualize, feel the emotions, speak their affirmations, and then get on with life. They clean the house, take a walk, answer messages, maybe even laugh a little. In this relaxed state, ideas pop in, or someone reaches out, or a solution appears effortlessly. This is the paradox: the less they chase, the more they attract. Wealth manifestation is cooperative, not controlling. Another important aspect is recognizing inspired impulses. Once someone is tuned into a high money frequency, ideas arrive that feel light, exciting, or obvious. They might feel a sudden urge to check a certain opportunity, message a specific person, or take a small leap they've been delaying. These impulses are guidance. Following them is a hallmark of the abundance mindset. And often, the 2-day manifestation arrives through these subtle nudges rather than dramatic events. The person also learns to stop looking for signs of failure. Many people sabotage themselves by checking constantly whether it's working, which signals fear instead of trust. Someone aligned simply assumes the energy is moving. They hold the emotional satisfaction of the outcome and let time do what time does: catch up. This emotional maturity intensifies wealth manifestation and shortens the gap between desire and reality. And eventually, as they master the dance between focus and surrender, something powerful awakens within them, a deep trust that their internal state is the true creator of their external world. This trust becomes the final key that unlocks accelerated manifestation. And from here, they naturally transition into the next stage of their journey, where all these insights converge into a larger transformation.